Flying can be a very stressful process. We all know that. From packing, to getting to the airport, to the potentially long lines at security, and sometimes you barely make it to your gate in time. I know that's happened to me before, and at that point, I've just been grateful that I didn't have to rebook a flight. Now, imagine you've gone through all that, and you think you're smooth sailing at that point, and boom, while you're midair, an entire door handle busts open mid-flight. And yes, this did happen. In case you haven't heard over the past few weeks, an Alaska Airlines flight was going from Oregon to California and was forced to make an emergency landing with this Boeing 737 MAX 9 when the exit door had all of a sudden detached from the plane entirely. Passengers describe hearing a loud bang, followed by the oxygen masks hanging from the ceilings. Some people lost possessions, including their cell phones, stuffed animals, and even someone's shirt. Now, this plane was carrying 171 passengers, all of whom survived, thankfully. But during inspection, they found some loose door bolts that would need tightening on other 737 MAX 9s. And as a result, over 200 flights were canceled because of these inspections. So basically, once this near disaster happened, they found a bunch of other quality issues on potentially many other 737 MAX 9s. And furthermore, this week, another Boeing 737-800 domestic Japanese flight had to return to its departure after a crack was found on the cockpit window. So, 2024 hasn't been off to a great start for Boeing. That's for certain. Now, many people have called into question as a result of this, the push for DEI, aka diversity, equity, and inclusion. With Elon Musk saying people will die due to DEI, citing Boeing's annual incentive plan, and how in 2022, they added diversity, equity, and inclusion as one of the performance metrics. Also showing that in 2023, Boeing prided themselves at 47% diversity hire. Musk also went on to say that discrimination on the basis of race, which DEI does, is literally the definition of racism, which triggered billionaire Mark Cuban, who went on a 5-part response to Elon Musk, including one nonsensical part about how treating people equally does not mean treating people the same, with Musk's sarcastic response about, when will we see short women on the Mavs? Now, with all due respect to Mark Cuban, because he is a billionaire and nobody can deny his grind, not treating people the same is the definition of discrimination. Giving somebody an unfair advantage that isn't based on their merit, rather their race, their gender, their sexual orientation, whatever, does not get more discriminatory than that. And the fact is that Boeing does have a history of race-based discrimination. Back in 2020, they sought to increase the hiring of colored people by 20% through mandated benchmarks, and there was backlash then. People saying this could crash and burn, calling it diversity. And whatever the root cause is, people will die if this continues, because this isn't the first time something like this has happened with Boeing. Back in December of 2022, a Boeing 777 operated by United Airlines flying from Hawaii all of a sudden lost altitude, descending within 800 feet above sea level before regaining control. It's said to be due to a miscommunication between the pilot and co-pilot when the pilot said to adjust the flap setting to 5, but the co-pilot misheard it as 15, resulting in both of them receiving additional training. And while both pilots had around 25,000 hours of flight time altogether, one of them only had 120 hours on the 777 itself. And this incident wasn't reported until about 2 months after it happened, when an investigation was opened into it. Now, not much else is known about the pilots, but given the information presented, it does beg the question, could this have possibly happened because of DEI not being implemented properly and not hiring the best for the job? And if that is the case, what is it going to take for people to realize that we need to stop prioritizing people's feelings over the greater well-being? Now, people are trying to take the blame off Alaska Airlines itself, with some saying it's entirely a Boeing issue because Alaska Airlines didn't build the plane. And while the common denominator in all of these situations is Boeing, Alaska Airlines' hands may not be clean themselves because they have also been shoving their woke ideologies down people's throats.
Gay! 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 When I say gay, you say gay, gay! 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 When I say gay, you say gay, gay! Gay! Gay!
Also, their policies have been focused way too much on gender identity, saying that misgendering can be harassment, and also that they've rolled out their pronoun pins. All this says to me is that they don't have their priorities straight, excuse the pun. Because any corporation that has to be in your face about these sort of ideologies likely care more about that than anything else. Now, don't get me wrong, having a diverse workforce is important and everybody should feel like they belong, because without a positive work environment, your work product can suffer. At the same time though, at the end of the day, what matters most is your work product, and that's essentially the only reason for corporations to keep you around. Now, as a person of color myself, I wouldn't want any airline to blanket hire a bunch of Indians to simply fill a quota if that can compromise me getting from point A to point B safely. That should essentially be all there is to it, but it seems we don't live in that sort of world anymore, and hopefully it doesn't take something tragic on account of Boeing for people to realize that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, hopefully I've earned a subscription. Here's some videos for you to watch in the meantime. Until next time, peace out.